Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Speechless on Cities 92.9 and now on YouTube. Guys, I know I've talked a lot about my music passion in the past, but today I have a phenomenal opportunity to sit down with my good friend Pat from the band Miller Holler. Miller Holler is open for, I believe, Shania Twain and for Hatchet, a Molly Hatchet band as well.
Hatchet, all kinds of guys.
You guys have gone on for a lot. But everybody, before we get to everything about the politics of music, we're here at Six Strings in Bloomington Normal, Illinois, a phenomenal establishment that I'm here almost like every weekend. But so Pat, I saw you a little over a year ago.
Yeah.
And you performed here, and there was I'll be honest with everybody, there's a "Let's Go Brandon" chant that came out. And the whole crowd erupted in it, and you did not stop it.
I didn't stop it. Hey, the people spoke. I didn't start it. I didn't stop it. So
you didn't start it. You didn't stop.
Take that for what you will.
And from then we kept talking about we got to talking about the politics of the music industry and kind of what's going on. And in the last year, there's been even more that's come out about just kind of who's on what side. It seems to be a big thing in the music industry.
Yeah, it definitely is. It definitely is. And I think, my drummer was talking about this. Alice Cooper had a take on this, and he said, maybe politicians or maybe musicians shouldn't be politicians. We're no smarter than anybody else. But I will say that if you do choose a side in this business, it better not be that of conservative value. I mean, it's a career killer. It really is.
Well, but there have been some that have been able to make kind of almost a brand out of it. I mean, so a big controversy that came out recently was the Bud Light thing.
Yes.
And so I want to talk a little bit about that one. I know I've talked about it on this show before, everybody, how Kid Rock came out and he took his AK-47 or something and shot up all the Bud Light, and he said F Anheuser-Busch, F Bud Light. There was even Travis Tritt came out and said that he's not going to have any Anheuser-Busch products on his tour anymore.
We've heard that from quite a few different artists.
So what are your kind of thoughts on it, especially being in the Nashville scene where Travis Tritt and Kid Rock are?
Well, and I'm in a unique position. Prior to this, I had been working with Busch Light to try and get a sponsorship.
Gotcha.
So I actually made a video talking about the Bud Light controversy, and I was told I had to take it down. And
interesting.
So because anything bad for Bud Light was bad for the brand at the time after this controversy. But, I told my rep, I said, what did you expect was going to happen when this was your marketing plan? I mean, if you were Disney World, you wouldn't market your park with death metal. You got to stay on brand for what works. People want the mouse with the ears. Okay. For Bud Light, people want,
real men and real women.
They want good times. They want to watch sports. They want to eat chicken wings. So, I mean, it's like you just totally went against your entire demographic. So I'm not a marketing expert, but I didn't think it was a great play.
No, I get that. And that's what I've been talking a lot about on this show is that we need people to kind of stand up and say their thoughts on it, especially when you have all these different sponsorships and people that have been involved in the brand and people that are involved in the brand. The decision they made goes against their brand. You know what I mean? It goes against Kid Rock's brand. It goes against Travis Tritt's brand.
Right. So. And that's, politics aside, but that's never been something that we've really supported or really raised a flag to, was supporting that community. And not that we have anything against them, but it's just like, this does not support our brand.
Absolutely.
But also touching on this, we were talking about this in the van today. Everybody's concerned about the Bud Light controversy, but you look at what's going on around the world. We've got a lot of problems, man. People are not using the U.S. dollar. Paris is on fire right now where they're overthrowing their government. But you don't see this. They distract us with these things. And I think we got bigger fish to fry, Kev.
I totally understand that. We do have bigger fish to fry. And one of which impacted, so you're from Nashville.
Yeah.
One of which impacted your community was gun violence. Recently, a transgender shot up a Christian school in the area, killed, I believe, 3 that were under the age of 10, and then 3 adults.
It was devastating.
And so I just want to talk. I don't want to get super into the politics of it, but being from Nashville, I'm in Central Illinois. How did the community react to that? I'm sure obviously not good, but how did they react?
I think I think it was, everybody kind of reacted the same, in that it was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that this has happened again, and especially right here in our own town. But then you had immediately the divisiveness of this is why we need to ban guns, or people who are saying, the good guys with the guns stop the violence.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of on that side. I mean, only a good guy can stop the bad guy.
Thank God for the cops in that situation.
I would say what I took out of it was, God bless those police officers. There was live footage of them running in there fearlessly. And it was a great example of what you should do in these situations, because these situations are going to continue to happen, in my opinion. I don't know a lot, but I know that the mental health in this country is not great. And so when you have people who have poor mental health, they're going to reach out, people who have lost hope, and they're going to do these crazy things that you and I could never even dream of doing, but some people have nothing.
Yep.
And this is their way to be somebody.
Absolutely.
And it's terrifying, and it's sad. And, like I said, the initial sentiment in Nashville was nobody wanted this to happen, and we couldn't believe it. But yeah, it was
and the community's mourning, I'm sure, even still.
Yeah, even still. And it's like, 3 days later, the Bud Light thing came out, and then that's all anybody was talking to. So it was kind of like,
it stinks because it seemed like the media just pushed it under the rug a little bit.
Man, it was like, is this so common that we've forgotten already? And I mean, I guess they haven't forgotten now. Everybody's screaming about gun control and this and that and the other. And I mean, we should probably have drug control too.
Yeah.
If they made drugs illegal, nobody would do drugs. So
yeah. No, I totally get that. Speaking of mental health and taking a kind of a bit of a turn here, I want to talk about music. And when I say mental health, for me, I've been playing instruments for my entire life. You've made a career out of it.
Yeah.
I want to talk about your career, kind of where it started, where it's at now, and where you hope to see it going.
Man, I'm very blessed, very lucky to have made a career of it. A lot of guys don't, and we all have to do side jobs and hustle, but it is the best medicine. It's the best therapy.
Absolutely.
Getting on that stage at night and rocking for a crowd like we're going to have here tonight, a packed house. It's there's no better feeling. So as far as mental health, we might be nut jobs 5 days a week, but the 2 days that we're up here doing our thing, it's the best. But yeah, I got started out playing in church. Played my first professional gig with my dad when I was 13. Got first road gig when I was 15 and playing with my dad. And got paid, got to dance with a pretty girl. And I said, well, I guess this is it forever. Yeah. So, here we are.
Yeah, absolutely. So talk about some highlights. So like I mentioned earlier, you had opened for Shania Twain at one point.
We were actually on a television show with Shania Twain.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
She had a show that was similar to The Voice, but it was for like up and coming artists. The Voice is kind of just that guy that can sing in your hometown.
Yeah.
He doesn't really have a lot going on. This was all people who were like about to make it. And so we got invited onto that show. Great experience. Shania, you broke my heart, babe. I love you still. She voted against us, and that's all right. But that was a great career boost for us. That was actually with my last band, but a lot of that, the endorsements, we got our guitar endorsement and just a lot of great people on our side.
Yeah.
And so I have nothing bad to say about being on TV. It was awesome.
Totally. And so then Molly Hatchet Band, were you on tour with them? Or?
So that was our very first as Miller Holler. We started Miller Holler right at the beginning of COVID.
Yep.
And so like our first big opener slot was for Molly Hatchet, which I'm a huge Molly Hatchet fan. That's been one of my favorite bands since I was a kid. When we first started playing guitar, we were trying to play Skinner and Molly Hatchet and Blackfoot and Stevie Ray Vaughan, all these cool like old guys, right? And so yeah, that was like, it was really a dream come true to me to be able to share the stage with some guys that I grew up listening to and really thought was, I had aspired to be that. So it's kind of like, yeah, man, like we're not there yet, but we're on our way.
You're on your way. And so I know recently you had a big TikTok that kind of blew up, and that blasted you guys a little bit into the stratosphere, at least on TikTok.
Yeah.
And so have you noticed even since that was what, 2 weeks ago? That happened
2 weeks ago
from the time. And so have you even noticed, even at shows like that, people seem to recognize you a little bit more?
It's wild. Yeah. I had a guy actually message me on Marketplace to buy something, and he said, hey, you're Miller Holler? And I said, yeah. And he goes, I just saw your TikTok. And
my God.
Like, no way. Okay, cool. So, I'm trading guitar gear online. And he's like, hey, I saw you. So it's crazy. A few of my buddies were like, hey, yeah, I don't follow your band, but you showed up in my feed. And I'm like, that's awesome. But yeah, that video had over almost 600,000 views for us.
Yeah.
And we gained about 12,000 followers in a day.
That's amazing.
So
well,
that's,
and speaking of your TikTok, I do have something I want to show everybody out there, and I want to know a little bit more about it because it's been coming up soon, and we've talked about it a lot. I believe it was filmed in Illinois.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about exactly what this is. Let's let everybody take a look. Awesome. It's for one of your songs, "Don't Sell the Farm," which is one of my favorites from you guys. Let's take a look at what Miller Holler posted.
We've lost all those attachments and appreciations for those that are still providing that most basic function to life, which is the food that nourishes our bodies. That's why I stay, is because it keeps me close to the land, It keeps me close to God. And those of my family that remain on the land, it keeps me very close to them. And I just absolutely refuse to let that go.
So you guys have a documentary for this song as well?
Man, we started out filming this song. So I'll tell you about the song. It's called Don't Sell the Farm.
Yep.
And we play a lot of these farms up here in Illinois and around the Midwest. And we've gotten to know a lot of these farmers and a lot of these people in these farm communities. And they're just some of the best salt of the earth people that you're ever going to meet. And we heard about their struggle, man. You know, the government putting, you know, restrictions on what they can and can't do. The cost of fertilizer, the cost of diesel. You know, all these things affect the price at market for what they can sell their goods. You know, they're getting less and it costs more to produce the same goods. So, you know, there's a lot of incentive right now for these guys to sell out and just say, hey, I'm going to take my $1 million and go live on the beach, and they can turn my farm into a community, you know, a subdivision. But that takes food off of our tables, and people don't understand that. You know, these are the people that produce the food that we eat, whether you're a meat eater or a vegan or whatever you are.
Yeah.
Like a farmer touched that food. So these are people that we need to respect, and this song is just kind of bringing light to, hey, this is a tough life, and these are people that we need to respect.
And they did a lot, and they've done a lot for our communities that we don't even realize all the time.
They continue to do a lot.
Absolutely. And so you guys made a whole documentary to highlight them?
Yeah, we actually made a mini documentary. It's about 15 minutes long, and we're going to promote that, but we're actually looking for investors right now to make a full-length Netflix documentary.
Oh, that's awesome.
Where we're going to go on tour and talk to a lot of these farmers and, you know, get their farms in it and just get the real-life story, man.
Absolutely. So if you're watching out there and you're a Netflix executive or anything, make sure you reach out to Miller Holler, at Miller Holler on like everything, right?
On everything. We're the only ones.
Yep. At Miller Holler, MillerHoller. And you can check them out and make sure. And if you're, like I said, if you're a Netflix executive, this could be the documentary that blows up Netflix. It could be the next Tiger King, honestly. It's an amazing song that you guys have. And I've talked to you about this song quite a few times. I mean, farms are being bought up left and right. And I know a lot of people in Illinois care a lot about that issue because family farms are dwindling.
Well, and like that gentleman said, you know, it keeps him close to the land, it keeps him close to his family, it keeps him close to God. And so much of our society, you know, we talked about mental health, but when you're not working in that condition and using your body, using the gift that you've been given, you know, there's a hopeless feeling associated with that. So these guys are out there really doing the best thing that they can be doing for the world.
Absolutely. Well, Pat, I really appreciate you coming on. Any last words you want to say to everybody viewing out there?
Kevin, I appreciate you, brother. You keep doing what you're doing, fighting this fight. I'm glad to be on here and talk to you always, and you keep spreading the right message, brother.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Pat.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.